make sure that they've done the courses so that they can give real, authentic feedback, but also get them to leverage second years who went through this last year to be valuable resources to convince first years that it is worth their time.
So PD knowledge and skill with the courses, and also other core members and that knowledge and skill as well. Yeah.
I mean, PDs have to really believe that the online work is valuable before they're going to be able to invest in it.
Yeah. So again, knowledge, skill, mindset around our online materials. Yeah. Back there.
I think PDs need to have at some level of understanding of the different curricula that their core members might be receiving and how that fits into these online courses, so that they can say, you have this, I understand that there's a section like this that will help you use this curriculum that you have and still get the most out of it.
Absolutely. And so I think, again, the trend within the things that have been shared thus far is that like knowledge and skill set that our PDs are going to need to have that we were talking about earlier in the session. What else are we thinking about? Yep, right there.
I'm Charlie from Baltimore. And I'm thinking one thing we tried to push a lot this year is just this mindset of like purpose over process. And so kind of continually like be focused on like, what is, your goals, what are your core member goals, and like, trying to figure out the best way through differentiation and everything else to get your core members to those goals.
Yeah, so it's kind of like PD skill with like being able to communicate that and build those mindsets and have those mindsets themselves. Yeah.
I'm Ayana from Atlanta. I think very specifically PDs are going to have to think very hard about their second years and know where their second years coming in and how they're going to articulate this on their own mindset and build the mindset with the second years that yes, you may have gone through something similar last year, but here's the benefit this year, and this is where I see a gap, and really invest the second years in that and be able to do that consistently.
Yeah, and so I think what like is implicit in that is just this differentiation piece. So they're going to need to be able to differentiate for core years. They're also probably going to need to be able to differentiate for different contents or different subjects or different school districts. And so I think the differentiation piece is huge. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Meg from South Louisiana. I think adding on to that, I have 4 new PDs that are coming straight out of my second year core, and so they have to make that relationship transition from I was just working with you as a first year, now you're a second year, now I'm your PD. And that's going to be a tough thing that some of them have already said they're nervous about.
Yeah, so I think this list that we're generating is actually even more robust than some of the things that are on here. And I think there are a lot of knowledge and skills that we just addressed and just shared. I think the 2 things that I want to pull out here are, I want to like harken back to what I was mentioning earlier around managing core member expectations. Managing core member outcomes and managing like just the process. And again, recognizing that, I guess like Meg is saying, many of our PDs are going to be new to their roles. And so we're going to want to make sure that they have the knowledge and skill they need to be able to set expectations, since this is the onset of round 0. And so that's one addition that I would make to the list we were generating. And then the last one, the last bullet that's up here, I also think is important. And it's something that I've seen successful PDs be able to do well, is just how they're going to communicate to their group, not only around those expectations, but also to just keep that motivation really high for all core years. And so just being really creative and generative in the way that they're communicating and the way that they're following through and following up. So, yes.
Can I just add one more?
Yeah.
Like a knowledge of where our core members are just coming off of Institute and like what other pressing concerns are on their plates right now. Like, are they stressed out about apartments? Are they having family? Like, what else is what are the other factors in the equation?
And so I think like that's very tied to just like having this like building those relationships that we heard, but also some of what we're just talking about around like what laser like focus do I need to have to just understand what's undergirding much of what's happening, especially because I want to be mindful of retention. Yeah, I think that's creatively. So we clearly were able to go through this pitfall very quickly as a group, and I think this is just evidence to our ability to think through some of the things that our PDs are going to need to have, do, know, think. And so what we're going to do is on your tables, there is a set of 4 pitfalls, and one of those pitfalls we just went through. And what we're going to do for the next 20 minutes is there are 3 additional pitfalls that you all will have the option to go through at your tables. And again, I want to just leave this to you and your table facilitators to identify which are the pitfalls that are going to be most common and most pressing in your regions. And I would pick the top 2. It's possible that you all will move more speedily and we'll get to all 3, but I would prioritize first by identifying what are the 2 pitfalls that you want to identify and talk through. And I think what's really important to just be a part of this conversation is what is it going to take for PDs to be successful in navigating these specific pitfalls?
Can I make just 2 quick notes? These pitfalls should look very, very familiar to you because they're deliberately aligned to the pitfalls that we thought through in the kickoff sessions and the through CMI's session. And we did that because we wanted you to have a chance to think them through at the core member level and figure out what your vision is for what needs to happen there for core members. And then this section is where you can focus on, first, what's going to hold your PDs back. But I think you may have already been thinking about a lot of that stuff already in the first section, and if that's the case, I'd really encourage you to focus on what solutions are going to be necessary in your plans. And that's great if you're in that place. We wanted this time to be for you to nail down how you're going to prepare your PDs for those same pitfalls. That was actually all kind of one point. And the second point that I wanted to quickly make is that at the end of this, we're going to focus in on, I'll do this for TFA, because there are a series of other conversations we want to have about it. So make sure that you've looked at that before you end the 20 minutes.
Okay, so we'll definitely do. How do you want to?